In this video I will show you how to create a virtual tour. Click on Virtual Tour to bring up the Virtual Tour page. Click on Add New Virtual Tour, and type in a name for the virtual tour. Click on Save to create the new virtual tour. A virtual tour displays virtual rooms. The new virtual tour has no rooms, so we need to create the first one. This will show the standard editor. Click on New Virtual Tour Room to bring on the Virtual Room Editor. The Virtual Room Editor loads the first 360-degree image from the library. Virtual room images can be 360-degree equirectangular, with a 2:1 aspect ratio, an environment cube or skybox with 6 separate images, a cylindrical image or a Google Street View. We need to upload our virtual room 360-degree, equirectangular image with a 2:1 aspect ratio. Click on the Upload button and select the image to upload. We will add an arrow to move to the next room. We cannot set where to go to until we have created the room. By default, this creates an icon, up arrow, with a pop-up and tooltip text. We will edit the action and the text later. We need to move the icon to the correct place, in this case the doorway. The best way to do this is to rotate the icon about the origin. As the icon we are using is sat on a 3D plane, we need to rotate it in 3D space. We have created our first virtual room and can now return to the editor. We position the room in the orientation we want it to be in when the room loads. We then save the scene. After saving the scene, the virtual tour page is redisplayed and shows that we have created our first virtual tour with a single room. We will now add a second virtual room to the virtual tour. We will now add the icon to return to the opening scene. As we already have the opening room, we can change the action to change scene to it. We can set the tooltip text to show what clicking on the icon does. We now have a virtual tour with 2 virtual rooms. We can now change the action within the first room to go to the second room. We click on the Project tab and open the Virtual Tour section. We then click on Edit Virtual Room. We change the action type to Change Scene and select the scene to go to. We change the tooltip text to the name of the room. We click on OK to return to the editor. We save the changes to the virtual room. Let's now see what our virtual tour looks like. The dialog box shows we have 2 rooms and can be used to navigate to each one. Click on the up arrow to enter the Porter's Lodge. Click on the up arrow to exit the college. Notice that when we exit, the initial orientation of the room is looking towards the college. We can change that if we want to point towards the road. You can move the dialog if it is obscuring any feature. We will now set the orientation of the entrance to the college room to point away from the college when we exit from the Porter's Lodge. First, we need to get the position and rotation of the camera for the orientation we want. Drag the mouse around to position the camera for the orientation of the room we want. When we get the correct camera position, click on Copy Camera. Now we can set the camera position when we go back to Wadham College entrance. Click on the Set Initial Camera Position checkbox, then paste the saved camera orientation. You must remember to save the changes to the room. Now let's look at the virtual tour again. This time when we exit, we are facing away from the college. You can display a compass in a virtual room, however, you need to set the compass's initial position. First enable the compass, then position the initial position of the compass using the left and right arrows. You can display the compass within a room by enabling the compass. We can add simple text into a room. We add the text using the standard editor. The virtual room editor is only used to add or edit actions within a room. We now position the text using translation and rotation. We now clone the text and position it. We have added 2 more rooms using the same methods used before. We will now add additional information relevant to the virtual tour. We will add information which appears on the menu dialog for every room in the tour. The information we display on the menu dialog for each room in the tour is created using the HTML editor. We can add links to other web pages within the information. The information we just added is shown on the menu dialog in all rooms. We will now add an information pop-up to a room. We will add another icon. We will change the icon to a more suitable one for an information pop-up. We will change the action to display 2D text. We will now add a button to load a page showing a gallery of pictures. We add an object of type Object Text 2D. We edit the text for the button and set its style. We change the action type to load a page. We set the URL type to page and select the page we wish to load. We remove the tooltip. We will now add an alternative way of navigation by displaying a plan of Wadham College. We are going to create a standard scene using the editor, as this scene will not be a virtual room. We will create a new external scene to add a background. We change the aspect ratio, select the skybox and switch off the ground. We now add a horizontal plane. We now set the material texture of the plane to a plan of the college. We will now add a map pin. We select the camera icon, change the marker type to a map marker and set its style. We save the marker style for later use. We change the marker 2D type to billboard so it always faces the camera. We now add an action to display a virtual room when we click on the map pin. We add an orbit control to the scene so we can move around the plan. We need to add our WOD and plan scene into the virtual tour. Drag the new scene from the left box to the selected scenes on the right. The WOD and plan has been added to the menu. We have added the other map pins.